What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 107 of Two Dudes of Sports News. As always, my name is Garrett, and here with my co-host.
What to do? What to do? This is Jalen Prince.
We got a lot to get into today. I know we missed it last week a little bit. We're not getting into that.
No,
We're not getting into that. Life has been busy. We got a lot to catch up on, and it's honestly good that we kind of waited because I feel like the last episode would have been a little dry if we didn't have all the stuff to talk about that we have to talk about today.
So strategically, we've been planning.
Exactly. This was all master plan, grand scheme, all kinds of things, whatever you want to call it. So, sorry we're a little late today, but we're here. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to talk some NFL free agency. We're going to talk a lot of cuts and trades. We're going to talk team needs for the Jaguars and the Seahawks because there's rumors. We're going to talk rumors. We're going to talk Shador. And we're also going to do a top 5 no trades draft. We're just doing the first 5 picks. If we sat here to all 32, that's a whole different episode, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Now we are going to do. We do have some more final segments that's not football related that we want to talk about, mainly like with the NBA, how media coverage is, a couple of beefs that have like mustered into the scene.
Y'all know.
And obviously March Madness. We're in March, and the madness is already happening.
Yep, and we will be doing a bracket again. We do it every year. We're going to do it again. We're going to set it up. We're going to tell you guys how to be a part of it at the end. And then we'll update it as we go on. But if this is your first time here, welcome. This is not your first time here, welcome back. If it's your first time here, you can see when we do new episodes, all kind of new things at Tdsn Pod on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it, at Tdsn Pod on TikTok. We're also live on YouTube every time we record. Over on StreamYard, you can hop in the comment section, let us know what you think, and we'll talk about it. So we'll get right into that. Let's talk NFL free agency before we get way too anything. There's been a lot of cuts and trades. There's been a lot of insanity. What is the biggest surprise of free agency for you so far?
Pull up the list.
Let's do it. So let me get over to the current list of, we got a few. This is the current list of releases as of yesterday or 2 days ago from Adam Schefter. There's Devontae Adams, Joey Bosa, Evan Ingram, Tyler Lockett, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Javon Hargrave, Gardner Minshew, Jamal Williams, Devin Duvernay, Draymond Jones, Roy Robinson Harris, Rayshon Jenkins, George Fant, Raekwon Davis, and I'm pretty sure Rodgers needs to be on that list. There's also Ronald Darby. Get off my team. Ronald Darby's gone. I know that. He's not on there anymore. There's a couple of people that are missing, but these are some of the more notable names. What is the most surprising cut from you? Because I have mine.
Here's the interesting ones that stuck out to me. I'll get my bias out of the way. The Tyler Lockett cutting that was coming. We knew it. We ended up saving a lot off the cut. So that was coming. Darius Slay, that slick kind of surprised me, given how they just won a Super Bowl. His veteran presence was a part of winning that Super Bowl. Like seeing what he did for the rookie cornerbacks of Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, definitely helped out. James Bradbury, that wasn't a surprise. Evan Ingram with y'all has been solid. Joey Bosa, that kind of surprised me a little bit, because I thought he was going to be with the Chargers for a long time. Nothing else
didn't surprise me that much.
Nothing else kind of really shocked me on that one. I'm glad we let go of Draymond Jones, because I felt like that was just a wasted contract in of itself. It just never truly panned out the way that I had thought it would.
Rayshon Jenkins too.
Yeah, but not that big of a surprise on it because it's a cornerback compared to a pass rusher. So
I hear that.
There's only so much you could do with that one.
For me,
Javon Hargraves, maybe a little bit. But other than
the biggest surprise to me is probably Ingram.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's Ingram when you get a situation like, how do I put this? I understand. I understand it. That doesn't mean I like it. The Jaguars had made multiple trades and cuts over the last couple days. Jags have traded Christian Kirk for a 7th to Houston. We cut Evan Ingram. We cut Ronald Darby. We cut Devin Duvernay, and we cut someone else too. And we're sitting right at about $60 million in cap space. The only one I'm upset about is Evan Ingram. Bosa being cut, I'm not. No, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I wasn't concerned about that. That wouldn't surprise me that much. Devontae Adams being cut was not surprising. The only reason he was in or on the Jets was because of Rodgers, and he will go where Rodgers goes. Lockett surprised me a little bit. Darius Slay didn't really surprise me. Bradbury didn't really surprise me. Hargrave didn't really surprise me. Gardner Minshew didn't surprise me. Jamal Williams, even though he's a fan favorite, I'm not shocked. Duvernay didn't surprise me. Draymond Jones did a little bit. Roy Robertson Harris, not really. Rayshawn, not really. George Fant, not really. Raekwon, not really. It's really Ingram and Lockett were the two biggest surprises for me personally.
Maybe a little bit of Adams. I don't know. I don't know. I felt like he probably asked for that one.
Yeah,
trying to get out of New York. So
goes. That's what that is.
I don't think I would be surprised if he goes where Aaron Rodgers is going currently. Like, because remember, there's some rumors that circulating that Rodgers might be heading to New York, back to New York with the Giants. So really next door.
And Jonathan Allen surprised me.
Yeah, that one did. That one did surprise me. Remember this. Let's be honest with you. Like with Jonathan Allen and the Commanders organization, I mean, yes, they were starting to win this year, but at the same time, over the years since he's been there, like there's always been an issue with him, because like dude was tired of losing. He's not losing. He doesn't like losing. And that was just a terrible organization at the time when he was drafted. So like the fact that he got cut this time, especially when they're finally on the right trajectory of going to win. Maybe that was just a situation. We don't really know, but hey, he's gonna get picked up, and hopefully he goes to the right destination that's gonna be competing for maybe a Super Bowl, or just you're gonna get a really good value player. Now he's had some injury issues, and he's roll tide to the end of the day, but Jonathan Allen's still one of the best D tackles in the NFL. I don't believe he lost a step. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's been that, and there's been a lot of people who have been requested, or trades have been requested for them. Cooper Kupp has been allowed to request a trade. You've got Sam Hubbard, or not Sam. Wow. All right, Sam Hubbard retired. Trey Hendrickson.
This one, okay. So
Trey Hendrickson has been able to ask a trade. Sam Hubbard is retired. That's what happened. I mixed them up. That's my fault.
Dude. One's wearing 94 and the other one's wearing 91. The other one has been one of the top edge rushers in the league.
Besides Hendrickson, who was notable on that Cincinnati defense over the last 2 years.
And true. Dog, I don't get what the Bengals are doing on this one.
Bengals trying to outscore people 65-63.
Bro, you need this man. And you're letting them test free agency. Or not free agency, but you're letting them seek a trade. I just don't know what the management is thinking. Like, he's one of the cornerstones of your defense. And I remember when they got him from the Saints, and he's been everything advertised, and he's exceeded expectations that they had for him for a while now, at least in my opinion. Your defense is already bad. You lose him, it's only going to get worse.
To me, this shows that they are going defense heavy in free agency and the draft because they know where their issues are. But I don't understand cutting the most or allowing one of the most consistent players on your defense over the last 3 years, or 2 to 3 years, get a trade. And from what I'm hearing, the rumors are, at least on Twitter and all that fun stuff, is that they're willing to accept a mid-third round pick. Mid-early third round pick is what they're looking for this man. Now, your Seahawks are insane, asking for a first and a third for DK Metcalf.
Now that one I don't agree with, as far as that one being insane. I mean, dog, think about this. We're gonna base this off potential. You got a guy who's 6'3", probably around 230, 220 and 230. Can run like a 4.3, 4.4. Extremely gifted, talent wise, and his potential still hasn't been unlocked yet. Year 2, we saw flashes of what he could be on a consistent basis.
His potential, he's damn near 30.
No, he ain't.
He's 27 years old.
That's still not damn near 30. I will be
denied. That's 3 years away from 30.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Anyway, he's still within his prime. His potential still hasn't been unlocked. He still got a whole lot of time. The thing about it is, like, you let him go and he somehow blows up into being one of the top receivers in the league. Because you saw what happened when Tennessee traded AJ Brown, his former teammate, back in Ole Miss, and you saw how he's flourishing. We're thinking, like, if we go ahead and do this trade, and this is coming from my opinion, we do this trade, and he blows up and dominates like AJ Brown has done since he's been in Philly, and we don't get nothing in return, we're just gonna be in a bad space.
You will get a second or third. You will not get a first, and I'll tell you why.
Somebody's gonna be stupid enough to do it.
No one's gonna be stupid enough to give y'all a first. Someone will give you a second or a third.
Somebody's gonna be stupid enough to do it.
No one will be dumb enough to give y'all a first, and I'll tell you why.
I think New England will be stupid enough to do it.
You have to pay him immediately because he's on the last year of his contract.
Agreed.
He's gonna want to get top 5 wide receiver money.
He's gonna want. I don't think top 5. He just wants a new contract. Obviously,
he's gonna want top 5, top 10 receiver money. So whoever trades for him is gonna want to pay. Is gonna have to pay him.
Well, obviously, you know that because he's on the last end of his contract.
I'm talking pay him big money. So when you take that into consideration, the only person who is an established receiver in the league who any team is getting a first round pick for is one of the 2 demons from LSU. That's Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Those are the only 2 established wide receivers currently in the league that I view that are worth a first round pick.
What about Reek?
Reek is not worth a first round pick anymore. Reek is worth a third. He is not worth a first round pick. He is worth a second at
to me.
Best.
To me, it depends on where, like, who's trying to get him. But that's just me.
I mean, Reek is not going to get. He's 31. He's not getting. No one is giving a first round pick for 30-year-old receiver.
But he ain't getting that slow.
No one is giving a first round pick for a receiver who is going to retire within the next 3 years.
Dude, he ain't. But he's not getting that slow.
Speed ain't the issue. It's age.
Dog.
It's age.
The age only matters when you see the regression.
Let's
keep it a buck.
Let's keep it a buck then. Let's look at the progression. What did he do last year?
That ain't his fault.
That's somewhat his fault.
Okay, somewhat, but not majority of it.
He disappeared last year.
Dude, they didn't have no quarterback. 2 ended up getting hurt, and that, like, destroyed basically the entire offense.
I'm pretty sure he was injured somewhat last year too.
Oh yeah, a few injuries. Yeah, Nick's in there.
But that's my point. At that time, around 30, 31 years old is where the vast majority of skill players start to decline. That's a proven fact. That doesn't mean they're not good anymore, and that doesn't mean there aren't exceptions to the rule. But no one in their right mind is giving a first-round pick for a 31-year-old wide receiver.
Dude, there's a lot of organizations that aren't in their right mind. That's why I can see it happening. But we got to move on.
I love him, man, but I respectfully disagree.
All right.
Christian Kirk getting traded to Houston, I'm not mad at whatsoever because the way the rumors were coming out, Houston was going to sign him anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So Gladstone said, I might as well get something for it. So I get a 7th-round pick next year and save an extra $6 million in cap. Not mad at it.
Right now, what's your wide receiver room looking like at this current stage? BTJ, and who else?
BTJ. That's about it.
Right.
It's BTJ and Gabe Davis. That's a wide receiver room. And there's a couple other guys on there who were Parker Washington. My fault. I can't forget about Parker. I love Parker Washington.
Do you feel like Parker Washington's emergence, like emergence last year, really kind of helped out with this decision?
It does and it doesn't. And I'll tell you why. I think what it is Kirk didn't want to restructure, and I don't fault him for that.
Yeah.
He didn't want to restructure. And then he's getting older. He was injury prone. It's a lot of money. And the roster for the Jaguars, in my completely biased, but also somewhat unbiased opinion, I think is right there. We lost 10 games last year by by 1 possession or less. And by that, I mean 7 points or less. 10 games last year. That doesn't happen to teams who are far off. That happens to teams who were a couple key pieces away. So if freeing up $60 million in cap gets us
or at least
a new safety,
or at least a hurt sliding quarterback away.
Yeah, don't get me started on Aziz. Don't get me started on Aziz. But to me, if you get a situation, you have the wide receiver one at BTJ. Brenton Strange, it's now your time, man. I don't, we'll see how that plays out. But you have BTJ. Parker Washington can play on the outside. BTJ can play in the slot. Gabe Davis, this is your time. But to me, what I think we're going to do, and we'll get into team needs in a little bit, I think we'll go wide receiver at 5. But we have to talk Seahawks one time before we move on to that. Another guy who is out of his ever-loving mind, Geno Smith wanted $35 million a year. Potentially wanted $35 million a year. And Seattle said, nah. Third round pick. Seattle sends Geno to the Las Vegas Raiders to reunite with the geriatric coach in Coach Carroll.
Geriatric is the right word.
That man is old. old by coaching standards. Let's leave it at that. Old by coaching standards, not by actual human standards, but by coaching standards. That man is old.
We could talk about oldies, unlike later on in the show.
Good Lord.
Here's my thing. This hasn't been no secret. I haven't hidden nothing away from this. I was never a true believer in Geno Smith as our franchise quarterback for the long term. I've said that on many occasions to many people. I did not see this trade coming this year. I felt like it was going to come next year after we drafted a future successor. But the trade happened. I'm going to look at this 2 ways. One, for the Raiders, you get Pete Carroll. Go ahead and try to get a quarterback for your future. But at least right now, you get a quarterback who has some familiarity with one of the coaches and see what you could do. Possibly try to make some noise. You're in a situation in Las Vegas. You're going to be in a dome-like atmosphere, so you don't have to worry about too much inclement weather. And like I said, he's above average. He's not great.
He's mid.
Good. He's mid. He's good. He got a good arm. He's accurate at times. So just take it one game at a time and go from there. That's from the Raiders side. From Seattle, it's like we already know we're gonna have to get a quarterback. We gotta try to find one, whether it's in free agency with Sam Darnold, or whoever else except Kirk Cousins, and then definitely got to go in the draft.
That was my immediate next question.
To me, preferably Jackson Dart. If not him, I'd go Dylan Gabriel.
I don't think Dart's going to be there for y'all. I think Gabriel's not a bad pick for you guys.
Like I said,
Dart's going to sneak into the first round.
Dog, we do have a first round pick.
I'm saying in front of you in the first round.
And we'll see. I mean, the draft is only about a month away, less than a month, about a month away.
Yeah.
Because it's always around April when the draft starts. But either way, we got to look at quarterback. We're already on the rebuild, and I've already accepted that. It is what it is. Defense shows some improvements, but look, we're about to go into year 2 with Mike McDaniel, so they have a chance. Like him and John Schneider are going to have a chance to just build the team from scratch, the identity that they want to have. And so I felt like this was a smart trade. I don't want to lose DK, but with this move with Geno, I'm not too down about it.
No, and I get it. I mean, it makes sense. That was honestly, of all the trades, that was probably the least surprising one for me. So, I don't know. I think so. Let's get into team needs at this point because while we're here, so team needs for the Seahawks because we're on that. This is per a few different sites that I was able to find. So the team needs for the Seahawks, the general consensus for you guys, in no particular order: offensive tackle, inside O-line, edge, linebacker, wide receiver, safety, DL, QB.
Yep. And that's not a big surprise on that one because we've had offensive line issues since the Max Unger trade, and that's been over 10 years now. We've had that same problem for quite some time. So look at our tackles. Charles Cross, former first-round pick, and Abraham Lucas. Abraham, he's had injury issues the last few seasons, and it's more of a trust factor as far as whether we can really trust you to be able to stay on the field for long periods of time. And right now, we haven't seen signs of consistency from that. The next thing is what with Charles Cross, like, can he be a franchise starting offensive lineman? I think he can, but it's a matter of we got to see it first, because there are times where he's getting beat, but there's like a lot more times than not where he's winning a lot of his matchups and he's actually causing protection. My main issue is John Snyder. He said on a few occasions like the importance of more exterior offensive linemen than the interior. I don't believe he values the guard position that much, and it's shown the last few years, because like you look at Lincoln Tomlinson, he's had some good sights, but at the same time not been that good. So I really do believe investing in the interior is just as important as investing into the exterior. Um, We'll have to go receiver. Obviously, if DK wants out, then we have to get plans to like build around Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had a career year last year, had a breakout season. Edge rusher, yeah, that's been an issue for a long time, and obviously you can never have too many D linemen, you can never have too many safeties, and then you just got to get the quarterback right. So I I agree with a lot of those needs, and who knows, we might need
I
more.
think you guys make a push for Godwin.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Like, there's more other receivers out there as well
There
in
are,
free agency. So, like,
but I think you guys make a
I
push
wouldn't
for
give him a
Godwin.
ton of money, man. If we, I don't know. Like, I'm a big believer. If we have to spend money in free agency, it's got to be like offensive or defensive line to me. That's just me.
And the thing is, like, I had this discussion with somebody the other day. How do I put this? So I was talking. I like doing mock drafts every now and then. The biggest thing for me is whenever I try to stress this to people is like there's certain situations like my ideal mock draft or my ideal draft for the Jags is completely dependent on what we do in free agency.
Yep.
So if we sign a bunch of old linemen in free agency, I'm not that worried about it in the draft. And vice versa. If we don't do anything on the line of free agency, I'm concerned about it in the draft. So it varies quite a bit. We can fill our needs. I don't know how well we can fill them, but we can fill all of our needs in free agency. Almost every team can. It's just a matter of how good of a fit that is. So to me, yeah, I think your biggest needs are O-line. I think O-line and help around or for wide receiver help with JSN. But we'll see how that goes in QB. But I think you guys make a push for Darnold and send him or spend a lot of money with him. If not, then you got.
I really wouldn't mind getting Darnold. Like,
no, and the thing for me with what is it? So y'all are picking 18. Dart will not fall out of the top 15. So y'all either have to trade up and go get him, or deal with what you get. Because people, we know as well as anybody, people reach for quarterbacks. Christian Ponder was a first-round pick
all the time.
Christian Ponder, Vikings fans, was your first-round pick a few years ago, and we can see how that panned out. But those are needs for the Seahawks. Let's look at needs for the Jags real quick. With Mitch Morse retiring, we need a center. We need inside O-line help with Brandon Sheriff not coming back. Help on the outside corner, in no particular order, by the way. We need help along the interior, and we need help at safety, corner, and wide receiver. Ideally, for me, we go heavy O-line in the draft. We sign one of these free agent corners. We sign one of these free agent safeties, and we draft Hetero and McMillan from Arizona.
That would be a good selection.
That would be a disgusting pick. And that would also allow us to not worry about Gabe Davis next year. But to me, I don't think, and I may get clowned for this or not, I don't think inside defensive line is our biggest need necessarily. Because with Eric Armstead moving back inside and playing his actual position, are you listening to me, Ryan Nielsen? His actual position of inside defensive line, I think we're in a better situation. We're not as far off as people think we are for inside defensive line. I think we'll be okay. Corner, we need help outside of Tyson Campbell. You saw what happened when Campbell went down, and we had Ronald Darby getting absolutely torched by anybody with pads on, or Monteric Brown was a huge feast or famine player. So we need help at corner. Center we need because Mitch Morse is there, and I will be damned if I trot out Luke Fortner for another season. Offensive tackle is more backup concern in case Anton Harrison doesn't start to rebound or Walker Little doesn't turn out to be the player we think he is. We need help at guard as well because Sheriff is gone. Van Lanna might be the guy, but we'll see. I would love to have competition there. Safety, Cisco's probably not coming back. So we need some help at safety. Well, that's my thoughts for that one. But I would ideally love for us to take DB. Oh, it really depends on what we do in free agency, but we'll see. Now, before we get into some draft and some top 5 picks, we've been seeing a lot of criticism around this man right here. Shedeur Sanders has been receiving a lot of criticism in the draft, and it happens every single year. Every year there's a player or two who have some ridiculous thing put out about them, about how awful they really are, both on and off the field, how they're absolute, their scheme fit, they're only this, they're only that. This is the only reason they're successful is because they forced him to be like it. We get it every year, every single year. Last year it was Brian Thomas Jr. And I'll admit, we can go back on record. I've said it 1,000 times. My biggest concern for him was he reminded me a lot of Quentin Johnson because of how he was used for a primarily deep ball guy or underneath guy at LSU. But when you think about it, again, I was very wrong. I've been wrong before, and I will bet every dollar I've ever made and ever will make that I will be wrong again. I have since rescinded my thoughts on BTJ. I'm very happy it turned out the way he's turned out. And in reality, one of the biggest concerns is you need to look beyond. And I fell for it, and I didn't look beyond it. I'm trying to learn from this lesson. You need to look beyond some of these headlines. Go look at the tape. Go look at the game film, and go look at the scheme and see what the actual situation is. My biggest concern with BTJ was his scheme, was his route tree usage, scheme or need.
And I think I even told you he was going to be fine with that.
Yeah, and it's, again, you probably did, but we're good. We're over it. We're past it. I'm happy. But it's a situation where, like, is it scheme or is it need? So with Shedeur's success, was it based on scheme or was it based on need covering up his potential weaknesses? And I don't think it's that. I think Shedeur is going to be a fine quarterback.
Dog, I think he's going to be the best quarterback. I like Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward, but here's the thing. I'm looking at this multitude of ways. He cannot move like Cam Ward can. Completely understand that. Arm strength, you'll get the edge to Cam Ward. I get all that. Accuracy, give me Shedeur. Intangibles, give me Shedeur. Well, both of them got really good intangibles, but I'll lean more to Shedeur because of how he was raised, who he was raised by, and he can handle the pressure. The pressure don't bother him. Not to mention, dog, name one season in all of his college career, even Jackson State, where he's had a competent offensive line.
No, I'll give you that. Again,
so he's proven he can ball with a bad offensive line and getting beat up. That's what took me a long way. That's what got me on the side of Shedeur. It's the fact that you had bad offensive line after bad offensive line, gotten beat up, and you still was able to dominate, put up really good numbers, and change the culture of a football team. That's the thing that got me over Shedeur. Got me over with Shedeur. With Cam, dog, how many times he just sat back or stood back and just chilled nonchalantly?
He had a great O-line, don't get me wrong. But do you know how much it hurts me as a born and raised Gator fan to pay any compliment to Miami whatsoever?
Yeah, I get it.
I think that's like talking about that. That's like you talking about Cam Newton. As a Bama fan, you got to give respect to Cam. It hurts, but you have to.
Yep.
That's where I'm at with Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this class. I think it goes Cam, Shedeur, Jackson Dart. Because there were a couple games last year.
And I go Shedeur, Cam, Jackson Dart.
And I think it's the general consensus Jackson Dart is the third best quarterback in the class. I don't think it's yours. I don't think it's Dylan Gabriel. It is Dart. But the problem is I watched Jackson Dart disappear a few times last season, mainly in the Florida game where he was trying to do too much. He was trying to do too much, and it just completely vanished. And let's not act like this Florida defense and this Florida offense was the most competent thing out there. Let's be real.
Agreed.
Let's keep it a buck. This was not the most competent Florida team we've ever trotted out on the field. However, we found a way to mess with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, I think, is going to be a good quarterback in the league, but I think there's a reason he's going third. I think there's a reason he's going to the top 15. But I do think that, and we'll get into our top 5 picks. I think Shedeur goes. I I don't know if Shador even goes in the top 5. I'd have to think about it. Shador might go in the top 5.
Do the Giants got a top 5 pick?
The Giants do have a top 5 pick, but the Giants are also in love with a couple other players per some combine reports, but we'll see.
We'll see. But dog, here's my issue with Shador's criticism. It's like they're saying brash and arrogant. Who the heck raised him?
The poster child for brash and arrogant.
It's not even brash and arrogant. It's extremely confident.
It's confident, exactly. Saying brash and arrogance a little out of line. I'm with you.
He knows who he is. He knows how confident he is, and it's straight confidence. He doesn't shy away. He ain't got to be humble. He's humble at times, and I believe he's a really good kid. A lot of people, they said he's a really good kid. So the brash and arrogance, I'm like, dog, he's extremely confident and he's secure at what he is.
The only thing I'll say when it comes to there is a fine line between cocky and confident, and we all know that.
A lot of people don't know the difference. Especially, a lot of people don't want to know the difference.
Yes, I'll give you that. A lot of people don't want to know the difference, but Shador has crossed that line at a cocky before. But the biggest thing with, I would say my biggest criticism of anybody who's overly confident, short memory.
Yep.
If you can't follow through, but if you can't, let's reverse that. First of all, if you're going to talk the talk,
you gotta back it up. You gotta back it up.
No one has an issue with trash talking. No one has an issue with,
well, a lot of people
trying to get the
other trash talking.
No one in the league, no one in any professional sports league whatsoever has an issue with trash talking at all. Anybody who's ever played a snap of ball past Pop Warner or, church league or anything, I think a trash talking church league. I've seen it. But to me, like if you there's trash talking church league sports.
No, I know that. I know that. Like that was a look and said, like, what? Yeah.
There's trash talk at every level of this game once you're past the age of 10.
No, there's trash talk in every sport.
But it's the biggest thing to me is every person who's ever dealt with it, if you were backing it up, there are no issues. But if you're not backing it up, hold your L like an adult and have a short memory is all I can say. So if Shador is going to walk this walk and he's not able, or if he's going to talk this talk and he can't walk this walk, he better be able to have that short memory and not let it get to him. Because I want to see the kid succeed. I really do. And I've been critical of him for 2 years now. And that's not because I don't think he's a good player. It's because I have my own personal opinions. I've been critical of him, and I've been critical of his success at different levels. But you're right. He has been successful at almost every level that he's played at. He is a good quarterback.
He was trained literally by the best.
It's more of the fact that there are people who are willingly putting a target. The thing I take an issue with is willingly putting a target on your back and getting upset that it's there.
Yeah.
And that was something I was very critical of him for, and that's something I'm critical of a lot of people for. If you put the target on your back and are upset that people want you or want to see you not succeed, that's on you. Don't be mad that the target's there if you put it there.
Yep.
But that's my biggest thing. And that's going to come with mental maturity. That's going to come with age, and he'll get there. He'll be fine. I think Shador is going to be fine. He's the number 2 quarterback off the board. He'll be fine. But let's do a no trades top 5 picks. So we have first 5 picks are going to be Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, New England Patriots, Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you think goes number 1 overall?
Cam Ward.
I agree. I think Cam Ward goes number 1 overall. Number 2, who do you think?
Who got a number 2 pick?
Cleveland.
Probably Shador. If it doesn't get traded, I go Shador.
Abdul Carter. The reason why I think Abdul Carter is because Myles Garrett is looking to leave Cleveland.
Myles Garrett.
And they need a replacement, and that's why I think the Browns go Abdul Carter.
They also need a quarterback because
they do need a quarterback.
Because again, I call it. You were right. Deshaun's not working out.
He's a bum. Listen, broken clock's right twice a day. I've been right before and I've been wrong before, but I was right about this one. But to me, you've got Shador. So I don't think, and here's my thing. Shador could go to New York at 3. He could go to New York at 3. But there's also talk that the Giants absolutely love that tackle out of Missouri. However, I think they're morons if they don't take a quarterback, because the fall off after is insane unless they're trading back up. But I think Shador goes 3 to the Giants.
Yeah, I can see that.
You can see that?
I can see that.
New England Patriots at 4. I know who I think's going here.
Travis.
Yes, 100%. Travis Hunter is going to New England at 4. There's no way he's not. So you've got.
I had to think who's going to be the best receiver at that time.
I still don't think Travis Hunter. This is bold take for me, but I don't think Travis Hunter is the best wide receiver or corner in this class. I think he's the best athlete in this class. I think he's in. Before y'all come for me, I think he will be a fantastic player in the league. I think he has the tools, the length, the speed. He has the ability to be one of the best corners in this draft, if not the best corner in this draft. But he is currently not the most pro-ready corner in this draft. And I think it's because you're splitting time between 2 positions and you have to dedicate time to both instead of focusing on honing in on one. Now, I think New England will absolutely use him at both levels, but I don't think that they're going to have him on the field for every single play. I don't think that's going to be the case. So, but I do think the Patriots take Travis Hunter because he's a dog and Vrabel's also the coach, and that's something I could see Vrabel doing. Number 5, Jaguars. Travis Hunter's off the board.
How's your offensive line?
Offensive line is an issue. So this is why we either, in my opinion,
I'm gonna go Will Campbell, LSU.
Okay, I got us going Ted.
Okay, so you're going wide receiver first.
I'm going wide receiver.
I figured y'all make the opposite decision of what Cincinnati did the other year.
Mm-hmm. I think we go Ted. I think we go Ted at 5, and I'm not mad at it whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at O-line. I'm not mad at wide receiver at 5. Now, yes, so the Jaguars did not meet with Will Johnson at the Combine, but that doesn't mean you can't meet with him later. I wouldn't be mad at Will Johnson being the pick, but I don't think he is. I don't think there's a safety worth it at number 5. I don't think there's a the fact that they have us at quarterback as biggest need is insane. But NFL.com is crazy.
Yeah,
but to me, quarterback is absolutely not a problem. It's offensive line in general. I don't think there's a center worth it at 5. I don't think there's a safety worth it at 5. There's a corner worth it at 5. And it could also be inside defensive line with Myles Graham, but I don't think that's the pick either. I think the pick is wide receiver or offensive line. And it's the kid from Missouri, Will Campbell, or Tetairoa McMillan. I'm going to put my money on Ted. However, if we sign or trade for one of these wide receivers in free agency, we're not taking Ted at 5. And we're offensive line.
Let me ask you this. How much did you watch the Combine?
I'm going to be honest.
You didn't watch much?
Barely. Man, so normally I'm much more on it. I haven't been on it this year. Normally I'm much more on it with watching the Combine, looking more into it. Work's been nuts for me.
I believe it.
So I'm a little behind on it, but we will figure it out.
We always do.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. I think it's clearly going to be, there's no way it's not anything outside of, wide receiver or offensive line. I don't see us going defensive line because this is a very deep draft for defensive line. It's a very deep draft for corner. It's also a very deep draft for defensive back. And I think but there's not a receiver like Tet at 5.
Yeah.
Or past 5. Sorry.
Well, let's see. We're talking about big body. Did he do the Combine?
He did not.
Okay. He's
going to do his pro day. He didn't run at the Combine either. He might have done the Combine, but I don't think he ran at the Combine, which I think worried some people.
This is a really
but if the man runs a 4.5, who cares?
Yeah, but anyway, we got to move on.
Yeah, we got to move on. Sorry. So we're gonna do some March Madness preview. Getting a little cover some NBA media stuff real quick. March Madness preview. Who is your sleeper? I think Florida wins it all.
I won't even. No, I won't even argue with you on that because, dude, first
Florida's looking dangerous.
The SEC is loaded. Let me. I ask you a better question. How many teams in the SEC do you think make the big dance?
Per the current predictions, you've got Auburn. You've got. So I'm going on each break. You got Georgia. You got Florida. Florida. There's no way Florida doesn't make it. Florida would have to die. You got Vandy. You got Mizzou. You've got. I'm just going to. You got Bama.
Yeah.
You've got. You got A&M. You got Tennessee. Let's keep looking. You got Ole Miss. You got Arkansas.
Yeah.
So you got 10 already. You got 11.
Arkansas. They might be on the tail end, but I think they squeeze in.
Arkansas is currently at 11.
Yeah.
But Kentucky's in there too, or an 11 seed.
Did you say Missouri?
Kentucky. You have 11 teams from the SEC. And I think we have 14
total. Yes.
There's
Texas, Oklahoma, and did you say Vandy?
I did say Vandy. Texas, I didn't say. Oklahoma, I didn't say because I think Oklahoma.
Did you say?
I did say Kentucky. I also didn't say Mississippi State, which are the 3 teams that aren't in it.
I think Mississippi State will get in.
If we have every team from the SEC representing,
I mean, it's gonna be insane.
This whole rumor about like the SEC supremacy being over. If we have every single team make it to March Madness.
But his thing. It's not even just gonna be about basketball. Baseball's coming up. SEC conference play in baseball and college baseball, they start next week.
Sunbelt's dangerous too.
Sunbelt's dangerous, but dog, like for March Madness itself, we're gonna have a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. I can't pick one sleeper. It's a lot of them, but you mentioned your Gators. I'm not gonna knock that because like they were the team that I was most fearful of going into the season. So yeah, I can agree with you on that one. The other team that like I say is a sleeper would be Missouri.
Missouri's a good team.
We're talking about NCAA. We haven't even talked like conference championship yet, and that starts next week. So like I'm excited about it. And am I worried about my Tide? Not really, because like the tournaments haven't started yet. So we gotta see. But in the same breath, dog, I'm excited to just see really good basketball. You got stars almost everywhere.
Yep. We will do a tournament bracket. It will be on ESPN Tournament Challenge. That's the only app for this crap. We will be on ESPN Tournament Challenge. I will get it all set up once the brackets are actually set.
Yep.
But we will post it on Twitter at Tdsn Pod on where you can join and where you can find it. It'll be open for everybody, and it's just for bragging rights. I don't have the time to handle people's money. So just for bragging rights, you know, maybe if we get enough people, we'll do a little trophy or some shit, and we'll figure it out. Excuse me.
Maybe.
Excuse my language, Mrs. Prince. But yeah, that's it for March. I'm pretty excited about it. Let's talk NBA before we get into our final segment real quick because we're definitely running a little long on time.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's curious what we're talking about, I'm gonna call you Patrick Starr because you're living under a rock. And to me, this is the Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James beef.
Dog, here's thing. Before we even get into that, think about this. There's been a lot of coverage about the NBA about like who's going to be the next face of the league, and I forgot who said it, but I'm gonna give him credit. Whoever said that it's taken, not given. Like there was no passing torch. It had to be taken.
Oh, you got to earn this.
You got to earn that. So like there's that, but also LeBron James pointed out how nobody really wants to be the face of the league now because you don't get love for it. Michael Jordan, when he was the face, he was loved. Larry Bird, he was loved. You get the face of the league now, you're going to be more hated than ever. And nobody truly wants that, which, again, we understand. We totally understand that.
Dylan Brooks about to be the face of the league?
Bro. But the thing, go
ahead, sorry.
Ratings were down this year in the NBA. Playoffs is about to start in about what, a month?
Something like that. After March Madness.
So like, yeah, the NBA playoffs is about to start in about a few, in a month, and the ratings are gonna get boosted up because the playoffs are gonna start. Look, we don't like fans don't. We kind of downgraded. Well, players and fans have really downgraded the regular season to the point it really doesn't matter to a certain degree.
I
But at the
barely
same
watched
time,
it.
like that's been on the fault of the fans. Is again, it's been on the fault of the fans, but more so, it's been in the fault of the players. But more so, but even more so than that, then it's been the fault of former players and media members. I mean, just the level of coverage. I mean, dog, the go-to conversation and a lot of like mainstream media and sports has been what the Lakers and LeBron are doing, or what the Steph Curry and the Warriors are doing. Really
Which
ignoring everything else
I
about it.
don't care
They don't
anymore.
they don't want to talk Giannis and who has been sensational. They'll only mention him about a few minutes, and then they go right back to the Lakers and the Warriors and all this other BS. And look, we
LeBron
get it.
James didn't have egg whites for breakfast today. Who cares?
Look, we get it. We understand it. It's story driven. Heck, I'm in the business and I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, when is enough enough? When can like respect be given out? So we'll have to see. But as you mentioned, the biggest news in like the NBA has been just the beef or the altercation with LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith.
So to kind of get into that a little bit, we'll do the Cliff Notes version. Stephen A was on, or Spark Notes or whatever. I'm showing my age. We'll get into that in the final segment. But we the thing with Stephen A basically said the reason why Bronny's in the league and on an actual roster, not in the G League, is because his name is LeBron James Jr. or Bronny James, whichever you like calling him, or whichever he prefers to be called. But to me, like, yes, that's apparent. But we all know that. You don't need to say it. And that's where I think LeBron actually took issue. Because what Stephen A was insinuating is the only reason that Bronny is in the league is because of his name. Not that he's talented, not that he, has earned it. And that's where, as a dad, I feel like LeBron took issue. And I understand and respect that. I get that. And no dad is going to want to watch somebody badmouth their kid to a global audience.
Yep.
So I respect what LeBron did. I respect his decision. I understand him doing that. And while I understand what Stephen A is trying to say, we all know it. Bronny's the only $8 million guy who got a guaranteed contract as a second-round draft pick. We all know what it is. But that doesn't mean that he's not talented. That doesn't mean that he hasn't earned the right to have a shot at the league. Like that's where that is. His ability got him here. His potential got him here.
Let me ask you this: where do you think there was disrespect in what he said on First Take about Bronny James?
I think
because when I listen to it again, I don't hear no disrespect. I hear him pointing out just like the level of criticism that is coming for him, and he wasn't necessarily criticized. If you want to point out, if you want to cherry pick what he said, the fact that he brought out the whole 0 point or 0.1, 0.4, and all the other stuff, I get it, but you're just reaching at that point. When I listen to it again, I'm like, where was the disrespect?
It's the insinuating that the only reason he's on a roster at this point is because of his name, not his potential, and that's where the problem is.
And we talked about it. I get that, but like, was it wrong?
Was it wrong? A little bit, because the potential is there. You take a shot at that.
I agree.
The potential's there. Now, is that the only reason why he's on a roster? Probably not. But to insinuate that that's the only reason is where the disrespect is. Yeah. Basically, Stephen A said, I hope the way I took what Stephen A said was, I hope I'm wrong, but the kid's trash. That's the way I saw that. To put it in very blatant,
I wouldn't go
terms.
there.
Maybe that was too far. Stephen
because he even said repeatedly, like, he doesn't want, he's not rooting against him.
You'd be no, and that's you. There's a lot of players that are root against, but I call it how I see it too. But like, I don't see it that way. I think what Stephen A was saying is the only reason he's in the league is because of his name. And while he's hoping he's successful and wants him to succeed, the only reason he's in the league is because of the last name on his jersey. And that's what Stephen A was insinuating. And that's where I feel LeBron took it as disrespect, which I understand.
Yeah, we all understand. We all understand that you're being a father. You're protecting your son. The thing where I'm like, I don't see the disrespect because I'm trying to make sure I say this right. I don't see the disrespect because I don't see him pointing out or like challenging his character. I remember when he said like as a father, stop. Like as far as I'm trying to think, has LeBron ever said any quotes as far as him saying like his son is better than a lot of dudes in the NBA or anything?
No,
So
not
okay,
to
so
my
he never
knowledge.
said that. But my thing is like the criticism was coming either way. I figure like that was just coming because like we didn't see a lot of him at USC doing anything. So that was that was
Yes.
coming. I get the defense for it, and I'm never gonna knock that. Like you're defending your son, protect your family at all times.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying
I just don't see the disrespect because I'm like he didn't lie or like question the character or nature of anything.
in a way he did. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is in a way he did because he was insinuating that it wasn't based on potential or ability. It was based on name. And that's where the disrespect is because the talent and potential, I think, for Bronny is there. Do I think he's going to be as good as his dad? Absolutely not. But I think Bronny can be a point guard of the league for a long time. And we talked about it when he was getting drafted. I see him in that, Chris Conley type role, not so much as a defender, but just a guy who sticks around forever.
And I think he could be a good defender.
I think so too. Again, I don't think Bronny's a bad player, but we know that contract-wise, you got it because of who your dad is.
Oh.
You're one of the only guys who got a second-round guaranteed contract who actually made the team. In the league, second-round guys rarely make the roster, and they certainly don't get $8 million. But to me, I might be talking out of turn. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But to me, it's a situation where like that's where the nepotism came in. But the talent and potential, I think, is there. Yeah. I still think Bryce is the better of the kids, but
yeah,
I think Bryce is the better of the kids. But to me, Bronny is there because of potential, not potential and name, not just name. Yeah. And the disrespect, I feel like Bron took it the way he did because Stephen A was insinuating it was just based on name, not potential or talent.
I want to go back to just the NBA coverage. I feel like there's been a whole lot more negative feeding into a lot of things that has transpired within the NBA. And there's a lot of fault at that. Like the viewership being lowered, there is some media culpability with that. As far as how you coverage games, you point out a lot more negative stuff and agenda-driven stuff than you do compared to just like celebrating the game. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of different point of views as far as like how comparisons have been bad in the NBA has kind of destroyed the NBA, but also at the same time is actually being a compliment when you get those type of comparisons. But like what's the old saying? Comparison is comparison is the key destroyer for joy or something. I don't know. My brain is still waking up, man.
Oh, you good, man? Don't worry about it. Sounds
my
right
brain
to
is
me.
still waking up, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. It's never gonna get fixed as far as like NBA coverage, like be really covering the game and bringing respect back or anything of that sort. I doubt that it's ever gonna come back.
All I would say is don't fall asleep during the final segment, and certainly don't fall asleep during the ad read this time.
Yeah.
Not the ad read. Somebody wants to give us an ad read, we're in. But let's get into that last segment real quick, man. It is the final segment of the show. This is a non-sports related thing. Jalen, I'm gonna let you take this one away. We do not own the rights to this audio.
We don't. But it's just a clip that we saw on Twitter. Obviously, if you live on a rock, you don't know about Abbott Elementary, but mainly this was a segment about how they talked about like music appreciation. Obviously, and they listened to the
so
oldies.
mad, man.
if you are born in the 90s,
It makes me so mad.
Just look away.
Oh, this makes me so mad.
Okay. So the music teacher, Miss Davis, couldn't make it today, so I'm filling in, and I thought that we could make a playlist starting with some oldies.
Ooh, how about 50 Cent in the club?
Okay, no, that's not an oldie, and you shouldn't be listening to that.
Umbrella by Rihanna.
It's also not an oldie.
But my mom listens to it when she cleans on Sunday, and she's old.
She's like 30.
Exactly.
Okay, look, a oldie is something that's from another era.
Like a Millie by Lil Wayne?
It came out in 2005.
I was born in 2018.
Okay.
I love a Millie. It's a classic. A Millie, a Millie, a Millie, a Millie.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Eddie, what were iPods like?
We're gonna play Hot Cross Buns on the recorder. Oh.
I swear to God. Don't get me wrong.
First of all,
a Millie's a classic. All those are classic.
The fact that those are classics, yes, but the fact that those are oldies now.
Oldies? No, I can't do that.
I get that I'm 28.
I
understand that, but
man, I'm about to be 30. I don't give a damn.
Man,
those are not oldies. Cut it out.
No, they
not
said
now.
Like, a Millie came out in 2005, and I'm like, dang, man,
in like 15 years, sure. I feel like the definition of oldies is music from like 30, 40 years ago.
But like but a lot of these,
kids,
like,
because at that point,
yeah.
Hang on. At that point, where is it? If for those who are watching this later, these are all I collect records. At that point, are we talking like? Where is it? When is this going to be an oldie? When is Anderson .Paak going to be considered oldies? Come on now. We can't be doing this. I got Nas over there. We can't be doing any of this.
Bro, apparently we
all
can't.
of Nas oldies is crazy.
Hey, man. Look.
Oh, my God. On that note, we got to close out the show. We're definitely running a little bit long. We always try to keep it under an hour if we don't have a guest. So thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you like the show, you know what to do. Follow us on all of the socials. Follow us at Tdsn Pod on Twitter. That's the most the most you're going to see us interact with everybody is on Twitter. We have a YouTube. It's Two Dudes of Sports News on YouTube. We're the only one out there. At Tdsn Pod on TikTok. We'll get the videos and the shorts going back out at that point eventually.
Yep.
We're working on it. And then if you like the show, rate 5 stars from a podcast platform we listen to. We're on all of them. If we're not, let me know. I'll fix it. So we have that. And if you didn't like the or rate 5 stars, leave a comment, all the fun stuff. If you like the show, if you didn't like the show, it's treat it like a bad date. It's a blind date. Your friend set us up. It's not you, it's us. It's not us, it's you. Whatever helps. We'll pick up the tab for the hour of content we just gave you. And we'll just go our separate ways. Bashes in the group chat. I don't care. No reason to leave negative reviews. Drive us at the charts. Keep that, algorithm gods fed. You also get shout outs at the end of the show if you are a show that we like or have worked with in the past, or if you retweet or share the show or rate the show and let us know. So shout outs are always going to be plus a few extras whenever we get to that point. But go check out Jim, a fan of the van. Go check out the show him and I do called Steel and Teal. We just did an episode a week or so ago. Go check out Brent at 1420 Sports, Aaron at Brutally Sports, Darian over at Chill Takes. I think he just celebrated 3 years?
Yeah, about
something like that. Congrats, Darian, man. I'm happy for you. Go check out IIP Radio, Average Joe Sports. Go check out Cigar and Sports as well. If you're into wrestling stuff, because I know that it's been crazy lately, Heel John Cena is probably my favorite arc that we've had in a long time. Go listen to John at Wrestling Fan Insight.
Hey, shout out to the end of the big three, bro.
Yeah. Go check out
Naomi, Bianca, Jade, Cargill, bro.
Always go check out Sports After Dark. Go check out our friends and family over there. Love those guys. Always a good time to hang out with them. And especially now the NBA Finals are coming up, it's going to be crazy. If you're looking to gamble, please gamble responsibly. Don't bet the rent for next month. Don't bet the mortgage. Gamble responsibly. Listen to Nate's Daily Wager. If I missed you, you know who you are. We love you. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.